Hey there, it's Kristin Bentz in for Mike Broomhead today, and we've got some very special people in studio with me. They're two of my favorite reporters, and it's Robert Anglen and Elena Santa Cruz. And they have been, if not breaking the news, making the news on the Preston Lord case, the fatal beating of Preston Lord, and the following Gilbert Goons association or gang or whatever we're calling it today. So whenever I have the chance to fill in for Mike, I always want to get apprised of the latest news, and it seems like it just keeps piling on and piling on and piling on. And when I have questions, these are the two that I go to. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
So, Elena, I know that there have been some arrests recently, and it seems like every day there are more. Do you want to fill us in?
Yeah, so we're up to at least 12 teen violence-related arrests, goon arrests in Gilbert at least, or across that valley. Within the past 24 hours, there were 3 additional arrests made in these cases. One of the suspects arrested yesterday was also arrested. They were arrested in 2 cases. So yesterday we had to deal with a December 2022 beating and I believe a November 2022 beating.
Mm-hmm.
So we have 2 adults, 1 juvenile in one of those cases, and then the other case has to deal with that adult in the other case alone, just for that arrest. One of those adults is Kyler Renner, who was arrested yesterday. And also yesterday, late into the night, from Gilbert Police, we learned that his father, Travis Renner, was arrested as well throughout the search of, dealing with Kyler's arrest for drug paraphernalia, but the other arrests had to deal with assaults.
So the father, I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly for our listeners, and Robert, you can pipe in a minute because I know you've got some comments here. So the father and son, is the father, I don't want to say indicted on crimes, but are they similar, indicative of the beating of these kids, or is it just a drug-related crime in addition to his son being
just a drug-related crime,
Okay.
drug paraphernalia. That's the charges that we got from Gilbert Police that we were informed of. Hand it off to Robert.
Yes, Robert.
Beatings. That's the headline. These beatings keep stacking up. And in addition to the arrests, we've just obtained another series of beating videos that I hadn't seen before this week. Jumping to the Renner arrest, though, that's really significant because the community outrage following the Preston Lord murder case has been directed really at the Renner family. They have accused the Renner family of being connected to the death of Preston Lord. One of the sons of one of Renner's sons is they're pointing the finger at him. These community activists, parents, students, they are pointing the finger directly at that juvenile, saying he was involved in the Preston Lord murder. That has had some real ramifications for the family. Last week on Friday night, this family owns gyms and health club related franchises, and one of the franchises, OHM Fitness, revoked the franchise for Becky Renner, the wife, and said that they're doing it because of her alleged involvement in the Preston Lord case. So that was shocking. We don't know what OHM Fitness based that on. I'm sure there's a morality clause in their franchise agreement. And then that was followed yesterday by the arrest of her son Kyler on a beating charge. We watched him along with several others beat up a kid in an attack at a Gilbert parking garage. And then as Elena mentioned, during that arrest of Kyler Renner, they arrested his father as well on what they called drug-related charges.
He seems nice.
It's a family that plays together.
Unbelievable. It's interesting to me that finally there have been rumblings about Gilbert prominent families and businesses being connected to this. And I think it's interesting to note that now folks are starting to really vote with their feet and separate business relationships with people that are connected and families that are connected.
Yeah, well, the community has been demanding a boycott of the renter businesses almost since the death of Preston Lord. They have directed online campaigns. They've done word of mouth. They've sent letters, doxed some of these businesses belonging to the parents that they say are involved in the death of Preston Lord. And that, again, is separate from all of the Gilbert Goon attack videos that we've watched. And those, again, keep piling up. There's even now our count, which we say 12, at least 12 associated with Gilbert Goons, that doesn't, in the small world of the videos and the arrests that we've seen, it doesn't cover all the individuals involved. Because when you watch these videos, several people in each video are throwing punches, part of the attack, preventing people to leave. So you've only seen a smattering, even at 12, of arrests of people involved in these videos, and it certainly doesn't cover the world of the videos. There's a lot of these videos, and I'm kind of stunned, really.
Are these still like tribute videos, basically, for the crimes that they're committing, for lack of a better word?
Well, they like to.
They're promoting these themselves. They're posting their handiwork, yeah?
Yeah, far be it from me to commit a crime and videotape myself doing it, but that's what they're doing.
Sharing them in group chats with each other.
Again, it's Kristin Bentz. I'm in for Mike Broomhead today, and we're really happy you're here. And I'm also happy that we're joined by two of my favorite reporters from the Arizona Republic, Robert Anglen and Elena Santa Cruz. They're giving us an update on all things Gilbert Goons. And there's so many layers to this story. And it can just kind of morph into the tentacles of, police chiefs in different cities and families and businesses. And I wanted to talk to you, Elena, about what's going on with the Gilbert police chief. I think he has a presser today.
Yeah, so Gilbert Police Chief Michael Solberg has his second press briefing today. His first was last week, where he publicly answered questions from the media, and it was just the media that was present. And we asked questions last week. We got some answers, but a lot of kind of what we saw is him he was reading from already pre-made statements and some indirect answers that we got. So we still have major questions, like how many videos have they obtained? How many beating videos have they obtained? How many suspects do they have across cases? Last week he said that they were already looking at teen violence cases pre-Preston Lord. And
as a result of your reporting and public outrage, yes?
No, pre-Preston Lord, he said that there was already an uptick in teen violence and that they were looking into it already. So a big question is, what did that look like? What did that process look like, looking into these teen violence cases, and why were cases, if you were doing that already, why were cases reopened after December 14th, December 15th? Mm-hmm. We have big questions, and we're not getting clear answers.
And I think that's been indicative of this entire case, Robert, wouldn't you say?
Hey, and then some. So the idea that they were working on teen violence cases is certainly interesting information. The problem was they had attack videos that they were shelving, and they were watching in real time. You could see people beating up other people, and they put the cases on the inactive list. Some of that it was reflected in today's arrests or yesterday's arrests as well. They had closed the case for lack of investigative leads, and they had a video. So now they're identifying, now that we've reported this, they're identifying cases, and they're arresting people since December 14th. Again, we've counted 12 in our own track of Gilbert Goon arrests. But it does beg the question, and Elena's right. I think two of the biggest questions coming out of today's press conference ought to be, well, how many videos do you actually have? Mm-hmm. Because I know how many I have, and I don't think I have them all yet. And then in that, how many suspects have you identified, or how many people have you identified as quote-unquote attackers? What is the world of the arrests going to look like? And, we don't have that answer. You asked me earlier about the idea that the police chief had said at the beginning of this that they couldn't identify attackers or put these cases together. I call it connecting the dots.
Yes.
That they couldn't connect the dots because the victims themselves didn't identify their attackers as Gilbert Goons.
That is so preposterous to me. And that's their answer? That's what you got from me? It literally is mind-boggling that you're blaming the victim for not knowing who's beating the hell out of you?
I was of the. It made me recall that old movie, the Steve Martin movie, L.A. Story, where the guy walks up and says, "Hello, I'll be your mugger tonight. Here's my business card."
And he's driving from one house to the next in the same street. And we're not making light of his situation at all. But the police response has been lackluster at best. And it's been very Keystone Copy, I think. In the way that they've responded, and they've been shamed into seeking out answers for the death of an innocent child.
Yeah, and I keep reminding people that the homicide investigation is being conducted by Queen Creek Police. The attacks are happening mostly in Gilbert. But you raise a good point, and I keep using this description. Mesa Police got hold of a case in January. The attack happened last year. There was a video on January 4th-ish. A victim came forward and reported it. They had the attack video. They made an arrest within a week. We've had videos online
for months,
at least since December 14th when we published them. That if you just hit a stopwatch, since December 14th, I can tell you that a lot of these people are still out there and doing their thing. And, of course, we now know that attacks were happening even after the death of Preston Lord, which if you're a teenager and you're beating up people and the whole world's attention or the whole community's attention is on beating people up and the death of a 16-year-old, note to self, maybe stop.
So ridiculous. I also thought it was interesting, the Preston Lord ribbon situation that they were trying to commemorate, and then the HOAs are making them take them down? What is wrong with you people?
Well, you're talking about the community of White Wing. It's a wealthy enclave, gated community.
Don't make me laugh right now.
Hey. The police did a really, really intense search of White Wing on November 6th. Mm-hmm. They came in with an armored vehicle. They came in with evidence vans. The neighborhood was shut down for hours. They did multiple searches, multiple interviews. And that community, there's so much going on that I even forgot I wrote the story about the HOA.
See, this is why you have me.
There it is.
You're welcome.
And so the HOA community in that subdivision, a group of residents and community activists had gone around and tied orange ribbons around that community. It apparently upset the sensibilities of some members of that community, whether or not those or the families who were interviewed in the Preston Lord case and the Gilbert Goon attacks. Mm-hmm. The Renters, by the way, were one of the families where these searches occurred. Mm-hmm. Their house in White Wing, mm-hmm. Yes, and they were. In fact, we have a photograph from that day of Mrs. Renner, Becky Renner, the owner of the
yoga
health,
mm-hmm.
health club franchise, sitting on the curb next to an armed officer as they searched her house. So the HOA there actually ordered a maintenance guy the day after they tied these ribbons last week to cut them all down and bag them and trash them. So that created its own set of outrage, and you'll be pleasantly surprised to learn that the HOA has now agreed to put orange ribbons on the gate and on the outer perimeter of the community.
Wonderful. So just a little bow here and there just for kicks.
Mm-hmm.
And these bows and this orange wave, they call it, that is supposed to represent justice for Preston Lord, the 16-year-old who's dead.
As long as it doesn't get in the way of their beautification of their neighborhood.
Or upset the sensibilities of those in.
We wouldn't want to do that now, would we?
No.
Oh, my gosh. You guys, if you're listening, two of my favorite reporters are here from the Arizona Republic, Robert Anglen and Elena Santa Cruz, giving us an update on Gilbert Goons. Is there anything else that you think we should know?
Well, they certainly say more arrests are coming.
More arrests are coming is what we hear. We hear arrests. I read or heard that, Chief Randy Bryce in Queen Creek said arrests are coming, but they're still combing, the county attorney is still combing through everything. And Gilbert Police Chief Michael Solberg has certainly said that more arrests are coming. But again, what attacks are they? One of the 9? Are there going to be new cases opened that we don't know of yet? So we just don't know the scope of it yet. So we're just waiting to hear
Well, we're all going to be waiting to hear.
Thanks for watching The Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.